Level 1, you have no choice. You don't enlist in North Korea's army. You are taken. At age 17, your name appears on a list. Not because you volunteered, not because you showed courage, simply because the state decided it was your turn. In North Korea, military service isn't a career path. It's a sentence. For men, it lasts anywhere from 7 to 11 years. For women, it can stretch to 5. You leave your family with almost nothing, no ceremony, no real goodbye, just a date, a location, and the understanding that your life no longer belongs to you. The moment you step onto that military bus, the old version of you is gone. What replaces it is something the state will build from scratch. Level 2. The bottom of everything. Basic training hits you like a wall. You wake before sunrise, you sleep after dark. In between, your body is pushed to its absolute limit, not to make you stronger, but to make you obedient. Food is scarce. A typical soldier at this level eats less than a prisoner of war in most countries. Corn porridge, watery soup, occasionally something that resembles meat. You lose weight within weeks. Your uniform hangs off your body. Hunger becomes your permanent companion. But physical hardship is only half of it. The real training is psychological. You are taught that Kim Jong-un is not just your leader. He is your father, your God, your reason for existing. Every morning begins with a political study session. You recite loyalty pledges out loud. You confess your ideological shortcomings in group sessions. You learn quickly. Showing doubt is more dangerous than showing weakness. At this level, you are nothing, and the system needs you to know that. Level 3, learning the hidden rules. After your first year, something shifts. Your body has adapted, your mind has adjusted, and you begin to see what basic training never taught you. The real rules of survival inside the army. You learn that formal rank matters less than informal loyalty. The soldier who controls the food supply has more power than the one with the better title. You learn which officers take bribes, which ones are genuinely dangerous, and which ones can be managed. You learn the language of small corruptions, who to offer cigarettes to, when to look the other way, how to secure an extra portion of food without getting reported. This shadow economy runs beneath the official structure like a hidden current. Every experienced soldier knows it exists. Nobody talks about it openly. You either figure it out, or you suffer for years wondering why things never seem fair. You also discover something uncomfortable about yourself. You start doing things you once would have judged, small things at first, then larger ones. Survival has a way of quietly rewriting your values. Level 4. You start shaping others. Promotion doesn't come from talent in North Korea's military. It comes from political loyalty, seniority, and the right connections. When you reach sergeant, you are no longer just responsible for yourself. You are now responsible for junior soldiers beneath you. This is where the system becomes something you actively participate in, whether you want to or not. You are expected to enforce the same psychological pressure that was once applied to you. Morning political sessions. Loyalty reports. If one of your subordinates shows signs of ideological wavering, you are required to report it. Not because you hate them, but because failing to report it makes you complicit, and complicity is punished more harshly than the original offense. You watch the young soldiers who remind you of yourself 2 years ago. Hungry, confused, desperately trying to understand why this life feels so wrong, but being unable to say so out loud. You know what they're feeling, and yet you say nothing, because the system has now made you one of its instruments. Level 5, crossing the line you can't uncross. Reaching officer rank is a transformation that goes beyond uniform and salary. It is an identity shift. You now belong to a different class inside the military. You eat better. You have slightly more personal space. You carry genuine authority over dozens of people. But this is also where the cost becomes clear. To become an officer in the Korean People's Army, your family background is scrutinized. Your loyalty history is reviewed. Anyone with a relative who defected, questioned the regime, or was politically punished is automatically disqualified. This means that reaching officer rank is, in part, proof that your entire family has never stepped out of line. You carry not just your own record, you carry theirs. At this level, You begin attending political education meetings at a higher grade. You are briefed on things ordinary soldiers never hear. You start understanding, slowly, that the ideology you were taught as absolute truth is, in practice, a tool of management. The men above you know this. They use it deliberately. And now, so do you. Level 6. Seeing the rot beneath the surface. By the time you reach the rank of captain, you have been in the army for nearly a decade. You have seen enough to understand how the system actually functions versus how it claims to function. Unit commanders at this level regularly skim resources. State supplies meant for soldiers quietly disappear into private channels. Food, fuel, building materials, all of it flows upward through informal networks of bribery and reciprocal loyalty. This isn't deviant behavior. It is the system. Officers above you expect a share. Officers below you expect protection in return. You are now a node in this network, whether you agreed to be or not. The soldiers under your command are, in many postings, leased out as labor, farms, construction sites, factories. The army sends its men to work and collects the payment at the top. The soldiers see almost none of it. You take your percentage. Your superiors take theirs. The state takes the rest. Everyone understands the arrangement. Nobody names it. And underneath all of this, the political loyalty reporting never stops. You file reports. You receive reports. You learn which ones are real and which ones are manufactured. You learn that the truth, at this level, is mostly a performance. Level 7, playing the game of power. Senior leadership inside the Korean People's Army is not a military environment. It is a political one. At the colonel level, battlefield competence matters far less than your ability to navigate the complex web of allegiances, rivalries, and factional loyalties that define power at this altitude. You now have access to information that most North Koreans, including most soldiers, will never see. You know the real state of the economy. You know about famines that official propaganda denies. You know that the military's strength, as displayed in parades and state media, is partly theater. The missiles that gleam on television represent genuine capability in some areas and exaggerated capability in others. You know which is which. This knowledge is dangerous. Not because the state fears you will share it with the public. It fears you will use it in the internal power struggles that define life at the top. Officers at your level are watched as carefully as they watch their own subordinates. Loyalty to the supreme leader must be performed constantly, visibly, and convincingly. A single ambiguous remark at the wrong dinner table can end a career that took 20 years to build. You have learned to be two people at once. The true self that calculates privately, and the public self that performs absolute devotion. Level 8. The privileges that trap you. Reaching the general officer level in North Korea's military places you in a world that would be unrecognizable to the soldiers you once were. You live in a protected compound. Your family has access to special stores stocked with imported goods. Your children attend elite schools. You receive medical care that the average North Korean will never access. By the standards of a country where millions have starved, you live like royalty. And this is precisely why you will never leave. The privileges granted to generals are not just rewards. They are chains. You have too much to lose. Your family's comfortable life, your position, your safety. All of it depends entirely on the continued approval of those above you. Generals who fall from grace don't simply lose their jobs. They disappear. Sometimes publicly executed as examples. Sometimes quietly removed and never spoken of again. Their families often share the punishment. At this level, you understand something that took your entire military career to fully see. The system does not reward loyalty because it respects you. It rewards loyalty because it needs to keep you afraid of losing what you have. Fear and privilege are the same instrument, played from different ends. Level 9. The man who controls everything. Kim Jong-un sits at the apex of an institution that is not, in the traditional sense, a military at all. It is a loyalty enforcement system built around a single family's grip on an entire nation. The Korean People's Army's primary function is not external defense. It is internal control. At this level of power, reality itself is managed. Information that enters the Supreme Commander's awareness has already passed through layers of filtering. Subordinates do not deliver bad news. They deliver adjusted news, edited to preserve the leader's confidence and, more importantly, to preserve their own position. This means that the man at the top of the most information-controlled military on Earth is, in a profound irony, one of the least accurately informed people within it. Decisions made here, purges, promotions, military provocations, nuclear tests, are made based on a carefully curated version of reality, constructed by people with personal interests in the outcome. The Supreme Commander believes he controls everything. The actual machinery of power runs itself, maintained by the thousands of officers across all those levels below, each one managing their own small kingdom, each one paying tribute upward, each one terrified of the level above them. This is not a dictatorship held together by one man's genius. It is a system held together by the synchronized fear of millions. Level 10. The cycle. That never ends somewhere in North Korea right now. A 17-year-old boy is staring at a notice that arrived at his family's door. He doesn't know yet what the next decade of his life will look like. He doesn't know about the hunger, the loyalty reports, the shadow economy, the performances of devotion he will have to give every single morning for years. He doesn't know that the military he is about to enter has almost nothing to do with the version shown to him in school textbooks and state television. He doesn't know that the values he was taught to believe in, sacrifice, unity, the glory of the nation, are the packaging around a system designed, above all else, to sustain itself. He will enter as nothing. He will be broken down and rebuilt. He will learn the hidden rules. He will be promoted slowly, shaped gradually, and eventually become an instrument of the same pressure that shaped him. He will enforce what was enforced on him. He will stay silent about what he sees because silence is survival. And if he is obedient enough, patient enough, and loyal enough in all the ways that count, the visible ones, not the sincere ones, he may one day stand in a general's uniform, looking down at the levels beneath him, remembering, distantly, the boy he used to be. The bus comes, he gets on, the system continues.